in City Hall, filed in the city clerk's office, and posted on the City of Trenton website. Formal action will be taken. Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Present.
Councilwoman Feliciano. Councilwoman Feliciano.
Mr. Garcia, she is on, I believe she's going to be on the call tonight.
For the record, Councilwoman Feliciano is attending remotely. She is here virtually.
Hello, I'm here. Hello, yes.
Thank you. Noted. Councilwoman Frisbee. For the record, Councilwoman Frisbee is here and present as well, virtually. Councilwoman Frisbee, if you could unmute yourself.
Mr. Garcia, I think you have to unmute us because it wasn't allowing me to do
Present.
it. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Councilwoman Gonzalez, thank you.
Present and presente.
Thank you. Councilman Harrison. Councilwoman Williams.
Present y presente.
Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Present.
Thank you. Myself, Brandon Garcia, Municipal Clerk, present. Mr. Edward Kaloji, Legislative Counsel. Thank you. And Mr. Bridges may be en route. Thank you. And Madam President, at this time, if you would like, I can read the invocation.
Please.
Certainly. Almighty God, who holds the fate of man and nation, we most humbly beseech thee to bless this our city, these deliberations, and these thy servants, that they may act with wisdom and understanding for the good of our community and thy greater glory. Amen. And at this time, Madam President, as I understanding, we have some presentations, if you'd like to introduce those.
Yes, I'd like to introduce our first presentation this evening, Mercer County Planning Division Quick Build Roundabout Project. There's 10 minutes for the presentation. Yeah.
If you forgive me, I'll have to speak fast. So my name is Matthew Lawson. Sure. Matthew Lawson, I'm the Assistant Planning Director for Mercer County and longtime transportation planner. And I'm here to present on a project that we've been working on. Speak up a little bit. Okay. Present on a project that we've been working on to try to save money for the city of Trenton and improve traffic conditions. This is a project that is federally funded, and it is designed to improve safety and congestion in the city, hopefully by reducing the number of traffic signals that the city has to maintain and manage. Traffic signals are relatively expensive over the long term to maintain and expensive to construct. So this project has a wider catchment than just the city, because we wanted to provide some opportunities, some benefit for the county and for Hamilton and Lawrence Township that also own signals in the project area. And so the primary beneficiary is the city. And it comes from my own experience driving in the city and my frustrations with the operation of traffic signals, and also experience with a project with the traffic manager, Anthony Santora, years ago, trying to improve bus throughput on some of the key thoroughfares, and understanding better some of the challenges that Anthony faces with maintaining those signals. All right, we might have a show. Cool. So this slide shows the project area in general, but the focus is really on the signals in the city of Trenton. I have with me Joe Platt, who is the project manager for our consultant, Traffic Planning and Design. And we asked TPD to look at the traffic signal warrants for the signals in Trenton, 84 signals under Trenton jurisdiction. And the pie chart shows that about 12% of those signals are warranted under the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices, the MUTCD. About 31% have no volume warrants whatsoever. And the remaining are marginally warranted. They might be warranted for an evening peak hour Or there might be other conditions, safety conditions, a walking school bus or something like that, which would warrant the safety improvements that a signal might afford. What we're looking at is what the Federal Highway Administration calls an intersection control evaluation for those signals that are not warranted, 26 signals. And if we're taking out signals that are not warranted, that can't be considered from a federal highway perspective, then there are three options essentially remaining for us. One is a stop-controlled intersection, a two-way stop, which is the most common intersection type in the city of Trenton. An all-way stop, which is something that the city's been installing for safety reasons in a number of locations. Brunswick and Ingham is probably the most recent significant safety in installation of that. And then there's roundabouts. Roundabouts are a federal highway proven safety countermeasure, and they don't work everywhere because they tend to be pretty large. So we need to go through the intersection control evaluation to see what control type is appropriate. TPD has prepared this chart of the relative benefits of different traffic controls. And in the cost column, you can see that the traffic signals and a standard roundabout, a single lane roundabout, are the most expensive to install. Traffic signals are the most expensive to maintain. And so reducing those costs by eliminating unwarranted signals is one of the main objects of this project. There are other benefits, and the first column showing conflicts is very important because in a traffic signal, there are 32 points at which vehicles can come into conflict with each other. And so a roundabout will, because it reduces those conflicts to only 8 for merging and departing conflicts. Roundabouts are much safer. You'll see that the conflicts for a two-way stop are similar to a traffic signal. It's the same number of ultimate conflicts, but with a two-way stop, the main road has right-of-way, and just like a green light, traffic will pass through that intersection, not even looking for cross traffic or conflicts, pedestrians in the way. Anybody who gets in the way is at fault. And so two-way stop controls are relatively dangerous. An all-way stop is safer because everybody has to slow down. Everybody has to look for conflicts in every direction. Roundabouts are safer because everybody has to yield on entry to any traffic that's already in the rotary circle. But all-way stops, because everybody is stopping to look every direction instead of just looking to the other vehicles that are in the roundabout, may have a stronger safety benefit for pedestrians and for motorists in general. There are other comparisons in this chart. I hope that you have copies of the PowerPoint presentation, but we can supply that if you don't. So this project, what I'm trying to encourage you to do is to consider a resolution to approve a memorandum of understanding with the county for a trial roundabout at one of your stop-controlled intersections. And there are different kinds of roundabouts. What we're looking at is a mini roundabout. A standard roundabout generally takes about 130, 140 feet of right-of-way for the circular roadway. A mini roundabout can be installed in almost any Trenton intersection. Federal Highway Administration says that they can be installed at intersections with as small as 45 feet, corner to corner, diagonally across the intersection. They're different from a standard roundabout because there's no object in the middle of the roundabout. It's essentially a circular speed table in the middle of the intersection. And so we want to try a trial roundabout to see how people behave, see how people react to it, and to see if it's considered safe. And so as this project continues, the council will have the opportunity to weigh in on that and what sorts of traffic controls are appropriate in the city. The mini roundabout is something that, and I'll get to some design slides in a moment, but the county will install as part of this project that I've discussed with our highway department that we have the manpower and we have the resources to be able to install this. But like the South Broad Street streetscape intersection or improvement project, we would like a memorandum of understanding assigning appropriate liability. So that will come at a later council meeting. The intersection that we're focusing on, and this was really nominated by the municipal engineer and by the traffic manager, is Center Street at Ferry. The intersection is challenged because of both vertical and horizontal geometry. The vertical geometry, both streets are descending, going downhill at that location. It's an acute angle intersection, so sight lines are bad, and it's a two-way stop control. So it's a safety concern. It's hard to see. It's hard to get through. The traffic volumes and traffic speeds are appropriate for the installation of a roundabout. We feel it's a safe and appropriate improvement. So the presentation here shows a draft of the design plan. We have a more developed design that the municipal engineer, Rena Segura, has considered and approved. And so we are ready to, with your blessing, proceed with installation of that mini roundabout. For the larger project, for these 26 intersections, we have to go through that intersection control evaluation. And thinking forward to how the project will unfold, it seems appropriate to do it in phases. Installing stop controls is much easier and cheaper, pounding in a sign as opposed to putting in electrical equipment. And that may be the initial phase, followed by, if it's appropriate, installing roundabouts. How we pay for this going forward is an open question. We're starting this with federal funds, and potentially we can continue it with federal funds. Whether it's managed by the county, whether it's managed by the city, those are open questions, but we have to get through this phase of the project first. So there are a number of steps remaining after we install the trial roundabout. A decision point will come after we observe the operations and can report on those operations. But then to finish off the project, we need to complete the analysis of the traffic operations at each of those intersections to do the analysis to decide what controls are appropriate. So on the screen now is my contact information. I'm sure you can find my email on the county website as well. And we have a URL here that's included in the PowerPoint, which is going to a website with information about the project and why we selected these 26 intersections for analysis. So that's my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I don't believe that any of council received the information about this or the PowerPoint slides, so that would be helpful.
Will do.
It's kind of hard to read some of this from our standpoint, and I'm sure from the audience standpoints. I want to open up for my colleagues to ask questions. I had one quick question for you, though. You said, well, two quick questions. You said we're starting with federal funds and we should continue with federal funds. What is the proposal after that?
May continue with federal funds. Okay. So Mercer County is working we've worked on both a federally funded roundabout and a locally funded roundabout. The federally funded roundabout has taken us probably 6 years at this point, and $3 million. The local roundabout took us a year and $800,000. So what if there are many roundabouts here, they're not much different in construction cost than a regular speed hump, because you're just pouring some asphalt in the middle of the intersection, paint and signs. The possibility is for continuing this as a federal project. We have to get through from concept development, which is the phase that we're in, through preliminary engineering and final design. So typically a federal project will take another 6 or 8 years. Stop control to reduce, basically to remove the signals, could happen very quickly.
Okay, so just to be clear, we're not asking for city funding for this project?
Not at all.
Okay. And one other question. I don't know how true this is, but generally speaking, New Jersey is the only state that has roundabouts. I'm not sure if that's true, but that's a running joke. I know your first slide, I'm not sure if that kind of spoke to the safety issues as far as traffic studies, how many accidents occur around these roundabouts. I know we do see quite a few sometimes, but I don't know if you actually stipulated that in the slide, again, it's really hard to see.
Right.
How many accidents with these roundabouts as opposed to these other four-way and two-way stops. Was that articulated?
Yes,
Okay,
roundabouts are safer.
much.
Roundabouts are safer than just about any other traffic control out there. The crash reduction factor for a roundabout compared to a traffic signal is in the range of 80%.
Okay.
Right, and you know, for other intersection stop controls, there's a similar improvement. So much safer. Whether it's appropriate in the city context is another question that you'll have to consider later.
Okay, thank you so much.
Council President?
Yes,
Thank you.
Council Vice President.
Council President, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez did have her hand up. I'm not
Oh,
sure whether
okay,
she
please.
still has a question.
Okay,
Yeah.
Councilman Gonzalez.
Yes. Hey, I was trying to put my camera on, but it's not working, but it's fine. So I because I heard most of it, I just want to make sure that I understood. He is offering, he said the first stage was for us to do the study and those 26 intersections. Was that what I heard?
We are doing the study under this project.
Okay, because I know I heard Ferry and Center, and I know that's kind of a residential area, so that was my concern. Like, you know, is that a small roundabout? Are you looking to, you know, knock down some of these houses? Like, what is that going to look like? Or is this just the first stage just to see if it would go there?
We want to see if it holds air.
Gotcha.
Part of the reason that we're considering a mini roundabout at this location or potentially at others is because we wouldn't have to change curb lines. We wouldn't have to tear down anything. We
Okay.
just need to, you know, put up signs.
Okay. And something just to piggyback off of what Council President just said, I know she asked about the study on the safety issues, because I know the roundabouts may work in a place like Hamilton or Ewing where, you know, homes and not a lot of people are walking, but we have a lot of pedestrians that walk to and from a corner store, to and from, you know, especially in those residential areas, they're walking a lot more than you would see in other areas. So that's my concern too, about the safety part of it, with pedestrians walking across from one area to another.
The concern of Trenton City's Council about pedestrian safety and roundabouts is not our only municipality that has that concern. There are a number of advantages for pedestrians. There's a pedestrian refuge island within the splitter islands. And so it's a one-stage crossing across each approach. So you're first looking left towards the traffic in the roundabout to see if anybody's coming. And then you have a refuge island looking right to see if any traffic is approaching the roundabout on that approach. And so for pedestrian safety, it's often an improvement. Four-way stop controls may be better, as I said before, because people approaching are looking in every direction for a conflicting move. They're looking for a pedestrian, they're looking for a policeman, they're looking for other vehicles that are approaching so that they can cross safely. So that's, pedestrian safety is a very important consideration here. But generally, roundabouts are safer than certainly two-way stop controls for pedestrians.
Okay. I think that's it, CP. We're going to get a copy of the presentation though, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Council Vice President Williams.
Thank you. So, sir, thank you very much for coming tonight and presenting on this, because this has been a longstanding concern for many, many years. And Councilwoman Edwards and I actually heard formerly, she could tell about living on Ferry Street, but we've been very, very concerned and met with Mr. Santori about this, I'd say 3 years ago at this point. So this is really exciting news. So I do have some questions, but one thing I want to just correct, actually the four-way stop is at MLK in Ingham with the four lighted stop signs. Okay. And that's in preparation for someday we might be getting a traffic light there. But in the interim, the idea was to try to put the stop signs in to start orienting people that they're going to be stopping at that light. And whether that's something that still needs to occur, I'd leave that to the traffic experts. But it's definitely on MLK. And then my first question is, how large would the roundabout be? And that, because that is actually a fairly good sized intersection where Ferry and Center meet.
The roundabout would make no physical changes to the intersection as it exists. It's simply to the operations of the intersection.
So do you have a radius for how big it would be?
Oh, I don't know. It's probably diagonal curb to curb. That's probably 70 feet. So it's well within the range.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha. And then, as far as the prep work for, assuming, the approvals come through as they should, how long would it take for installation, to begin and be completed? Because I do realize, in a sense, this is almost a canary in a coal mine to see how this works out.
Right. The conversations that I've had with our highway department is that we could do it at any time as soon as we get the materials in. Basically, we need the plastic pylons, yellow and white, to be able to, direct cars appropriately within the mini roundabout. And we've got the equipment and asphalt contracts to be able to install it. So, I'm hoping that within weeks of your approval of an MOU that we can install the roundabout.
Okay,
We
so
can
this
do
is
it. We
definitely
can do
done
it
by
in
summer.
in winter if necessary.
Okay. And my last question, as far as orienting people, and this isn't just residents, this is state workers, this is everybody and their brother. We have traffic, unfortunately, we have a lot of issues with tractor trailers, particularly at night, trying to sneak through the city. So will there be any prep work on trying to get people, ready for that there's going to be a circle there? Like how do you actually handle that?
Well, we want to have an outreach campaign, especially to the locals near the intersection who will be using it. We don't expect any interruption of parking on street because it's going to be so close to the intersection that we'll be making any changes. We are working on some general outreach materials about how to operate in a roundabout. We'll have those on the county website very shortly and sharing them with some of the other towns that are concerned. And so how we do that outreach and whether we can use the resources of the city to be able to reach out to residents is something I'd be very interested to learn.
Okay. And then actually, let me add one last question, because to my colleague's points earlier, will there be from the county budget for this any money for any flashing lights? I know crosswalks are quite expensive. That'd be something we'd love to have, just like the suburbs have. What could additionally be added there just to make sure that pedestrians are number one?
For a trial roundabout, that's a challenge. We have, I don't know, it's like 60 or 120 different plastic pylons to imitate what would eventually be there in terms of pavement or concrete. Okay. And, and that's going to be, very visible to drivers. There are some other things that I'm pushing for, reflective markers within the raised pavement itself to alert drivers. But to put in electrical equipment, like putting in a traffic light, is a more expensive alternative. And for this trial, that was not our intention.
So it'd be cost prohibitive, I guess, at that point.
If you want to pay to maintain the electrical equipment, pay the electric bills and maintain it when it gets hit. So when a signal mast gets hit, it's about $40,000 to put back up. That's an estimate from years ago. It might be more expensive now. But when a sign gets knocked down, it's an hour of work and pulling something out of stock. Mm-hmm. So it's the cost variation among these different controls is pretty immense.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Council Vice President.
Council President.
Councilwoman Edwards.
Thank you. Good evening. First and foremost, thank you for this wonderful presentation. We all have been complaining about the traffic issues and trying to think of traffic calming solutions citywide. And as Council Vice President alluded to, we had a walking tour with Anthony Santora around Center Street and Ferry and Bridge. I lived on Ferry Street for 5 years. Yep. So I firsthand got to see the amount of car accidents over there, pedestrians risking life and limb. My own dog was murdered by a hit and run as we were crossing the street on that street, because that intersection on Ferry and Bridge is crazy. Center and Bridge is a little bit calmer because most people are going to the Trenton Makes Bridge. But I want to just go back to Bridge and Center Street. Ferry and Center, I'm sorry. Hopefully that something happens with Ferry and Bridge Street, and I hope to see that in future plans or from the city or from the county. Good. But in terms of Ferry and Center Street, that intersection, I love the roundabout idea. I'm very concerned about not having something in the middle that would kind of force them to go around it. I've seen dozens of people deliberately run red lights in this city. So I'm very sure that there are people that will ignore the roundabout and drive straight through, maybe not even realizing at first that it's new, but there are people that will deliberately ignore that and drive through. So I'm concerned about that. So is there something that can be put, a small structure in the middle that will prevent people from being able to drive through in either direction?
This is why we're considering mini roundabouts rather than a full roundabout, because a mini roundabout is mountable, it's traversable. That's Center Street is a bus route as well. Right?
Yes.
And so getting large vehicles through intersections is a concern for all of us. And so a mini roundabout, because it doesn't have a physical obstruction, it could have a sign in the middle, for instance, but that sign is likely to get run over. If we put a physical obstruction in the middle, then we're going to have crashes as people run into it, and we'll have to make it much, much bigger to have the turning radius for trucks, the turning radius for buses. So in the presentation that you'll receive, there's a final slide of the turning templates for a mini roundabout in Pennsylvania that was installed and followed pretty closely by PennDOT. And that shows the advantage of mini roundabouts in this kind of location.
Awesome. Thank you. That definitely gives a deeper perspective of things because that is a bus route and there are a lot of large tractor trailer trucks and a large box trucks that go back and forth to some of the stores over there as they're making their deliveries. So I'm welcoming the idea and hoping that it works out and look forward to supporting this. Thank you.
Thank you,
Madam
Councilwoman.
President,
Yes, Councilwoman Frisbee.
good evening. So thank you for this presentation this evening. And I guess every one of my colleagues have said, safety in this area has been an issue for all of us. Even as I sat in the president's seat on my term, this is something that we've been trying to address even back then. And one of the things I would like to offer is maybe if we cannot put an island in the middle of this space, that we put something, and I'm not sure what they're called, but they're similar to the little barriers that we have in our parks. They're circular, well, they're oval, but it would be a protection, so to say, to force folks to actually stay within the boundaries of where they're supposed to go on this roundabout. The other thing that I might suggest is if we, and maybe I missed this in the presentation, are possible rumble strips to go in to help slow the traffic when they're approaching the roundabout. And my last one is flashing the stop signs themselves. We just recently had a stop sign installed over here where there was used to be a yield sign, but folks are still going through it because they're not used to seeing a stop sign. So people need to get used to it. And maybe it would be advantageous to us, even if it's only on a temporary basis, to have the stop sign itself have flashing lights on it as folks are approaching to help us with that. So those are my comments. Thank you again for the presentation. Anything that is to help improve our safety, I'm for, and I'm glad to see that we're at least moving in the right direction with this.
Thank you, Councilwoman. All right.
I would like a response to that. I would like a response to the 3 items that I did put out there. If you need me to repeat them, I can do that.
So Center Island, flashing beacons of some kind, and flashing beacons are possible because they can be solar powered. That, you know, our intention is to try to figure out a way to make roundabouts cost effective, so that they're not expensive for the city to install should you choose that route. So rumble strips on the approach, we could consider that. That's an additional expense that we'd have to incorporate. And I forget what your third point was.
The other one.
Everyone was actually like pillars. They're little pillars that you can put to act. They're almost like cement, oval. Go ahead.
Those are, yes, we call those bollards. And our intention with the temporary mini roundabout is to have plastic pylons, which you see from time to time. The installation that I know the best is by the County Administration Building on South Broad Street at the Riverline crossing. Those are only glued down, And I would hope that we would use a different kind of pylon that's more resistive to vehicles that run over them. But there are larger pylons that look like concrete structures. We're installing those in some locations. But drilling into the pavement, we're trying to test and see how it works. And from my perspective, operating on the city streets in Trenton, I'm interested in something that lasts a long time. And so if a bollard is run over repeatedly, it's going to disappear. And so part of the reason for doing a trial is to see how people use this facility. And if they don't obey it, if they don't follow the rules for how to use it, then we can't advise that we pursue them in other locations. But in this location, there will be plastic bollards in a very large number to direct vehicles to the paths that they should follow.
So thank you for that. So I hear what you're saying. I'm not referring to the plastic ones. I am talking about concrete. So this way it's a one and done. So once we put it in there, it actually it's stationary. So they can't run over it. And I hope that we're talking about the same. They look almost like a bullet that sits up, but they stand about 2 feet tall. And that's what I'm talking about. We have them in areas of Cadwalder Park where they actually put chains on them to prevent cars from going in the wrong direction. But they're cemented pieces that actually go in those places, and they stay. They are a part of the fixture.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand. And if roundabouts are installed permanently, then there would be concrete for the divider island, for the curbed divider islands, to splitter islands to direct traffic, and there would be a more pronounced edge to the inner circle. But if you're talking about putting other concrete structures in the street, then you're also you have to trade off the hazards that presents for motor vehicles to crash into a fixed object, and so you're choosing your poison in a way. As a transportation planner, I would have a really hard time advising putting a concrete structure in the middle of or close to a pathway for a motor vehicle.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Council President.
Yes, Councilwoman Feliciano.
Thank you. Good evening. First, thank you for the presentation. And again, thank you to the county for wanting to step in and assist in this very important issue. So I would just like to offer the following as far as maybe some suggestions about what about advanced warning signs being put like a certain amount of feet before the entryway to just to alert that a roundabout is up ahead. Lane arrows painted right before the entry. Reflective the yield signs at every point to just show people that they need to slow down coming in. Solar powered LED lights for the evening time so that people can see, so that way they understand which way that they're supposed to go. And then with the entry, like something that actually forces them to cars to move left rather than like go straight, or move in the direction that we want them to go, so that we can prohibit as many accidents as we possibly can.
Councilwoman Feliciano, you sound like a traffic engineer. So we're gonna be doing almost all of those things.
Okay.
So the design plan that you'll receive will show many of those recommendations. The only thing that is off the table at this point and could be added is the electronic devices.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll consider that, but for the thinking about the city and trying to reduce costs for the city, again, adding electric devices is another maintenance cost. That's going to be a routine cost that you have to bear. And I'm concerned. I want to reduce your routine costs and improve circulation in the city.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Mr. Lawson, thank you so much for the presentation. I echo my colleagues' sentiments. Safety is top notch for us. And, we have had quite a bit of lawlessness, and it is really problematic sometimes to get residents to adhere to new rules and regulations when it comes to things as this. So that is their concern, and it is very credible. But thank you again for your presentation.
May I make one more very brief
Sure.
comment? And I was a little confused at the start of the presentation, so I forgot to ask my first two questions of you. And the first question is, do you speed up for a green light ahead? I do, because I want to make that green and not sit at a traffic light. The other question is, when you're sitting at a traffic light and there's nobody there, are you tempted to just go through it? And so by making the traffic controls make more sense for people, they're going to abide more with those traffic controls. And so that's one of the things that we're trying to do in terms of safety, to make it easy for people to obey the law. So
Thank you, Mr. Lawson.
thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Garcia, we can proceed with our next presentation this evening.
Certainly, Madam President. Your next presentation is from Trenton Waterworks for a proposed water rate increase.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening. Mr. Pico, please be advised, we have 10 minutes for this presentation. And
Okay,
we'll
we
allow
will
council
make
to
it-
ask questions. Thank you.
Okay. This is the culmination of a couple of months' work that resulted from our taking under advisement the comments that you made at our previous presentation on the original rate increase. We basically went back to the drawing board, kicked around a lot of ideas, and kept in mind the main point that I heard and that we all heard about cost and impact on low-income residents. We expanded that to just talk about impacts on residential customers generally, and that morphed into a whole new way of looking at the rate. And Piper Brandt is the president of Raftellus, is our rate consultant. He's here tonight to take you through what we're proposing to be introduced. Right.
Thank you. Mr. Garcia, was a copy of the amendments to the ordinance provided for the public this evening?
Yes, there is one in the back. There is a copy in the back of the public, at the clipboard that can be viewed by the public, and council has copies as well.
Thank you. May proceed. Thank you.
All right, great. Well, thank you all, and I will be as brief as I can be with this. I was in front of you about 5 months ago, went through this. Have received a good bit of feedback and really appreciate that. And we've taken that, and as Mr. Pico said, have tried to kind of make things more manageable for your customers, especially your low volume, oftentimes low income customers, as you will see. So real quick, some of these slides are from before. I'll hit those really quickly. Drivers, really kind of twofold. One is you haven't had a rate increase in a long time, and water rates have been going up around the country. So inflation's increased 25%. Water rates around the country have been going up 5% per year. And has been a while since you've had a rate increase. Pair that with you have a large capital improvement plan, about $230 million to spend in the next 4 years or so, $763 million over 10 years. At the same time, you really need to increase salaries for some of your workers, really to be able to attract and retain staff so it can be a sustainable utility. So that's what you're facing. Haven't had a rate increase in a while and a lot of cost. Here's just the capital improvements. You can see lead service line replacements, the Pennington Reservoir replacement, filtration plant, and so on. And then, since the picture says 1,000 words, here's some of what the reservoir replacement renderings would be. It become from one single reservoir to a distributed set of reservoirs throughout your service area. So provide better service and also take care of the issue of having an uncovered reservoir, which I know has been an issue with the state for some time. This shows you what the revenue requirements look like. The darker bar is the operating expenses, and they're going up a little bit. The lighter bar is the capital expenses with the debt service associated with those capital improvements. And you can see that's going up from FY 2026 to FY 31, looking at about 66 million to about 85 million. So expenses need to go up to be able to do these capital improvements, many of which are regulated by or required by the state. The problem is with no rate increases, which is that line, you'll be woefully short of your meeting the required revenue requirements. You can see the deficit going from about 11.2 million up to 31.5 million with no rate increase. So it's just not an option to do these things and to have no rate increases. So that gives you an idea of the challenges you face. So had that. We had an original proposal, presented that back, several months ago, went around to the communities you serve, presented it to them, got some really good feedback, and then have come back with a modified approach, which shifts from a single volumetric rate, which you currently have, which is $2.11 per CCF, to a two block rate with a kind of we call an increasing block rate structure in the industry, kind of a low volume usage rate and a higher volume usage rate. All customers will get the low volume usage rate for that block of usage, and all customers that go into the upper block will get that. So it's this, all customers see the same rate structure. The cutoff would be at 15 CCF per quarter. Your median customer uses about 12 CCF per quarter. So most of your customers, or of your residential customers, most of your residential customers would stay in that block one, the lower rate. You can see meter charge would go up 5% per year, and then the block one rate would go up 5% per year. So for those customers that stay in that block one rate, again, more than 50% of your residential customers, they would see a 5% per year rate increase over the period through FY 2031. And then you can see that the annual bill would go from $418 to $439. In our original proposal, where we just did an across-the-board rate increase, the increase would have been much greater on that median customer using 12 CCF per quarter. Here's what the actual rates are. I know they're small for you to try to see from there, but basically going from the current rate of $2.11, again, the block one rate going up 5% per year. The block two rate has to go up significantly more. And what we're doing is we're assuming it ends up being 225% or 2.25 times the block one rate we do a kind of a 3-year phase in. So your large customers will see a larger impact. The meter charge, again, going up 5% a year, so going from $79.24 to $106.20 that's a quarterly charge over the period. You can see I have the original proposal. Again, the meter charge goes up significantly less, and then the volume rate, at least the block one rate, is much lower. The block two rate is significantly higher, though. So what does that look like for an annual customer? I mentioned this already. For a median volume customer, again, that 12 CCF per quarter, going up from $418 to $439, $1.76 per month for that customer. For a higher volume customer, residential customer using 20 CCF, their bill would go up $3.90. Originally you can see that we were talking a monthly difference being $4.88 and $5.67. And you've probably seen the New Jersey American has just come out with a rate filing. It's been in the news where they were going to increase rates about $10 for a residential customer. So significantly less than that. Different volume, but this is still significantly less. Here is a bill comparison. It's always important to know what your fellow communities are doing right now. Trenton's kind of right in the middle of New Jersey communities, and you can see the solid kind of reddish orange going to the one with the hatched line. So it will be going up a little bit, but you still kind of remain in the middle of the pack for what the impacts would be for a customer. Then comparing it to your kind of neighboring utilities, which are Aqua New Jersey and New Jersey American. And also in this, it shows what the monthly increase would be kind of year over year through 2031. And that monthly increase is going from the $1.76 I mentioned before, $1.83, $1.94, 201, 212, and 225. But you can see you remain below Aqua New Jersey's rate for a couple of years. And this is assuming Aqua New Jersey doesn't increase rates at all. And we all know they're likely to increase them. Through the whole period, this customer would have a lower bill than New Jersey American, and that's before this new rate filing of adding $10. So it shows that you will still, your customers will still face lower bills than the neighboring utilities customers will face. So I did that really quickly. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have about this. Again, we tried to, this is kind of policy-based, trying to match, make sure that we can recover the revenue necessary for the improvements while really trying to take into account the impacts on a lot of your customers, especially your residential customers. So.
Thank you so much for that. I know my colleagues do have questions. Really quickly, I just wanted to be clear. At some point, Councilwoman Feliciano did state that she wanted to see a differential between, lower volume and higher volume, because I think the initial proposal was 14% across the board.
That's correct.
For everybody. There was, in full disclosure, there was a meeting with Mr. Pico, myself, Councilwoman Gonzalez, and Councilwoman Feliciano. All information that was generated from that conversation, all questions that were asked was distributed to all of our colleagues, just so they can see, what the differentials were going to be that were proposed. So having said that and put that out there, I'd like to open the floor for my colleagues if they have any questions at this time.
Council President.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you to everybody for the presentation. And I do want to thank the administration for taking what I said into consideration and presenting it back again. For those that didn't know, the last time at the last meeting, I did ask the questions about the differences between a residential bill and a larger use type structure having a bill, right? Which would be like a hospital, a state building or something like that. So I'm very happy to see now that you've come back with this. It is significantly less than 14%. And while a rate increase of any kind, anytime we have to kick out any more money, it can be seen as, it can be a hindrance. Sometimes it is just necessary to do. We have a situation where we have to generate something so that we can look to maintain Trenton Waterworks. It is a minimal increase at this juncture. And just to be clear again, there are two different rates that were charged on our bill. It is the ready to serve rate, which is designed, it's set based upon the size meter that we have, and it is a constant rate that we are going to be charged just to have the meter and to get the water. That has been constant. That is what it is. So there's an additional amount that is charged on that end. And then there is the usage rate, which is the actual use of the water that we have. So then there's an additional percentage that is going to be applied to that as well. When we look at it across the board, the increase is minimal at best, but necessary in order for us to do what it is that we need to do. The question that I have, though, is that by doing this, are we then falling under the guise of the BPU, or are we still independent of that? Is there any kind of authority change that would happen by us doing this rate differential?
No, the short answer is no. In preparation for this presentation, we had a meeting with board staff last week, and the guiding principle for us is the same. The board has no jurisdiction over Trenton's rate as long as Trenton treats its customers in exactly the same way, whether or not they are Trenton residents, which is why we've set this rate up the way we've set it, based on volume, not residents. And it applies across the board equally. Therefore, the board doesn't have any jurisdiction and none of the other oversight changes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Feliciano. Council Vice President.
Thank you, ma'am. I have a bunch of questions, actually. So I don't know if some of them might be appropriate for you. Some of them might be appropriate for Director Semple. So I'll just go one at a time.
Okay.
So starting with the rate increase, and I understand the financials of it, et cetera. One of the things that distresses me a little bit is when we've had our interactions with Commissioner LaTourette, and then I saw him speak at a community meeting. He mentioned the figure $600 million. Now, granted, that might have been a figure in his head. That might have been, I don't know where that came from, but we're looking at what he was saying on behalf of DEP, 600 million versus 763. So how did that difference come about that we're asking for much more than at least what he was verbalizing?
The 600 million, as far as I can determine, was based on a capital plan that had been sitting in front of DEP for almost 2 years, waiting for some sort of formal approval. That's the new number, the 730 number that is that capital plan minus whatever projects we were able to complete, but including additional requirements that DEP had put on us since the original plan was set together. We put together, both the DEP consultant and I had done independent reports on the capital planning. We both got to about the same place. This budget reflects the capital plan in those reports.
Okay, so he was essentially...
Wasn't wrong, it was just on, I could see how it would, I don't think he ever got a full presentation on the updated plans, so.
Gotcha. That would have been nice if had he had that. So also, as far as, I'm going to go item by item, and knowing that there are low to moderate income, folks, not just in Trenton, but throughout the whole region that we serve, I'm very heartened that you heard all of our concerns, and I'm very heartened, even more so, Councilwoman Feliciano suggesting about trying to have a residential versus a higher usage. I think that's very, very fair, particularly for our city, which has so much land that is not residential and obviously is taken over by the state, the county, and nonprofit organizations, and so on and so forth. So regarding that part of this, the higher usage, do you foresee any opposition from the state of New Jersey officially to this, or that's kind of like they're going to be happy that we have this together?
I think they're going to be happy that we have a rate that is going to get us where we need to go. Again, I want to make it plain to everybody, including people here. Everybody, commercial, large users, small users, the state, they all get the basic rate. Their first 15,000 will be charged at the basic rate. The extended rate only kicks in for additional volume and only for that additional volume. So if you use 20 CCF, you pay the low rate on 15 of it, you pay the higher rate on 5 of it. Based on just anecdotal evidence, that means that most of the mom and pop grocery store type operations, small commercial operations are pretty much going to fall in the lower category.
So small
they just won't
be
right.
Okay.
I don't anticipate a gigantic impact on small businesses because they get the 15,000 deduction, for want of a better word, off the higher rate. It's the big users are going to see a significant impact. Frankly, they're better positioned than anybody else to accept a significant impact.
So then it's almost like this idea will encourage environmentalism.
Oh yeah,
Conservative at water.
The bad thing about water conservation messaging is that it's geared toward the individual. The individual saves 100 gallons a month and is doing a heck of a good job. An industry could save 100,000 gallons a month with the same kind of effort, with a much greater impact on our system. So this is, in some extent, a water conservation encouraging rate base proposal.
Okay. And with that, one of the things I was actually, when I saw the video of your meeting, and I'm really glad that you all had that meeting. I thought it was very, very productive as someone just observed it, is increasing the rates over time based on inflation. One of the problems we've had as an economy is wages have been fairly stagnant. So if we don't move out of that cycle, are we going to be back here again, at some point, not with the repairs, but with people.
Oh no, let me make it clear.
We can't afford this.
This is a budget that includes increasing compensation for TWW employees. The mechanism for doing that is going to involve you folks pretty closely, and it all depends on how involved DCA is going to be in the process. So, but we need to get our employee descriptions into the competitive with industry average, or we just won't be able to attract and retain good employees.
Not very true. And then, because even, to make it more macro outside of TWW, just the general economy for everybody who's a customer. If, wages don't start improving in this country, we might be having folks with pitchforks come into City Hall about the water.
Let it be the case.
And then, so regarding the budget, the capital budget plan, one of the things I was hoping to see tonight was a timeline. And so I don't know if Director Semple can speak to that with us tonight on timelines for some of these projects, if this is all approved, to get initiated. I know we're talking 10 years, but also with the smart meter program, we only have, I think, to December 31st, 2031.
Good evening, Council. Sean Semple, Director of Water and Sewer.
Thank you, Director.
So we have various timelines for various projects. Let's take the smart meter project. We are running behind because we are not able to complete the first phase of the smart meter project. But we are transitioning to get an extension because this is iBank funded. So we're waiting to get the approval for the iBank to go extend the first phase of it, which includes Hopewell, Ewing, and parts of Trenton. We also about to go into the second phase, which includes Hamilton, Lawrence. And we are changing up our whole process in terms of this metering, which we want to make it more productive in a sense that we were changing our strategy in terms of how this is rolled out. And it will be more successful and it's going to be more efficient because we're trying to transition to the AMI version of the meeting instead of the AMR. Who don't know what that means? The AMR, we have to drive and pick up the readings. And the AMI, we use towers that is transmitted back to our main station. So that's where we're going. So we have an additional $7 million on the bond that we took for the meters. So that's where we're going to transition on the second phase. So that's what we're working on right now. Once we are granted extension, we have to be more rigorous, and with the problem is that customers were not letting us in. It's been very, very difficult. So part of the ordinance that we put forward, we're going to start doing the double ready charge for them just to get their attention because they're taking us for granted at this point. So that's the plan moving forward, especially with that. The other capital projects in terms of the tanks, the building of the tanks, we're moving forward with the design for the tanks at Prospect Street. We know we put in 2 tanks on Prospect Street. We're building a brand new pump station. We are in the process of purchasing the land for that location, as well as we already about to purchase the 2 remote sites in Hamilton and Ewing Township. So these are going to move very fast. So we're hoping to start maybe construction on the Prospect Tranks sometime in the spring of this year. That's our plan right now. So I don't see anything stopping us from moving forward. Everything has been moving, but at a constant speed.
Okay.
If I go back to the lead line program,
Sure, please.
this council has approved almost $57 million worth of work, of installations that we've done so far. We still have 16,000 lead line service replacement to do. Of the $57 million that we've bonded for, $37 million of that is part of principal forgiveness. So we only have to pay back about $23 million of that money because we've been very aggressive in the opportunities given to us by the iBank and the DEP. And we plan to move forward in that direction. And y'all have been very graceful in helping us through that process.
Okay. So, but let me ask, because one of my questions is, in this brochure, which was very helpful, but again, let's have timelines for the public and for us. It would be very helpful.
Yes.
We're going to be spending an extra $175 million on lead service line replacement. So that's in addition to what we've already appropriated so far.
Yes.
Okay. To complete the 60,000.
Yes.
Okay.
16,000.
So one of the things I would like to say, and I assume my colleagues would like to also, and the public certainly has, because people have asked me, is if we could have something on your website, kind of, okay, we have one column just says 63,000 lead lines, and then you have another column saying where are we at? Like we see that with fundraising campaigns. Same exact thing. Make it simple and easy so people know the information that's being provided and they know where we stand.
Okay.
Because we're always having to ask for that.
Yes. One of the things we're proposing, and I haven't said it to the administrators, is having our own website, which is very accessible to us to put more stuff for the public to see.
Yeah.
And that's our plan for this year.
That would be wonderful, because as the biggest thing that I get personally is, I'm not seeing any information. I see things I get in the mail about water testing, or I see bad stuff, people complaining, but I don't know the good stuff that's happening, and I don't know where things are at. And they might read a story about, we just acquired land in Hamilton to put a water tower, but they don't know when it's going to happen. So anything you can do to help is going to help TWW, and it's going to help us with council, and I think the whole city with just knowing, where the heck things are, and make this less scary.
Right.
Because fear of the unknown is what really is killing us.
Okay.
And I just have a couple more questions, and that'll be it. As far as this all going forward over the 10 years, and I know particularly with the lead line replacement, that's going to be heavily monitored, particularly because of what happened in Newark.
Yes.
But overall, as far as fiscal monitoring, state monitoring, how's that going to look for all these building projects that are going to go on? Because, obviously we're going to see a lot of construction happening over 10 years, but how are we going to make sure that all the money was spent the right way and all the things were done the right way?
Well, as you know, we are direct oversight from the DEP. They know everything we do, whatever projects we build, all goes through them. They also have a consultant working for them that we meet with, and we go through all our progressions as we go along. One of the things we are very open, we have nothing to hide, and I'm very serious when it comes to the inspection process. I wasn't happy with the earlier phases was done. It's going to be 100% oversight by consultants, not Trenton Waterworks employees.
So fully independent.
Right, independent consultants, not by Trenton Waterworks staff.
And each year of this process, will there be an audit or some kind of way that we can show the public, look, we have independent people on top of this. This is where we are. This is how much money's been spent. This is what it was spent on.
Yeah, we could definitely have that happen.
That would be wonderful. And then just the last question would be regarding things people talked about in the reports and the different I want to say letters of indictment from the DEP. They talked about the floods in the mid 70s. And I remember that because when I was a young child. But we also had the 200-year floods in the 2000s when New York State released water from the reservoirs to help their problems, but then it caused us problems and it really particularly hurt the island. So I'm wondering, with all these improvements, how would we be able to handle if we have another 100-year flood and things like that, or like in the 70s when the water plant got shut down? You know, we're going to be much more prepared to get through something like that without shutting down?
We will, well, to be honest with you, we have had emergency management practices ongoing. So in case that happens, we just had a tabletop evaluation with the county last year, which they wanted to see how our response was. And they made comments as to what we need to fix. And in this one part of the bonding that we've done this year was to make sure that all the emergency improvements be fixed within the plan. And we do constant testing and evaluations of what we're gonna do if we are faced with such emergencies. The flooding in itself, I don't know what mechanism we can build, but we could always reach out to engineers to find what to protect our facility. That's something that we could look into.
I would just be curious. I know you're going to be limited because of the location on a river, but I would be very curious. And I think others in the public would be to make sure, what precautions we have and at what point, is the failure. Because like something like what happened with Hurricane Katrina, that was something that New Orleans wasn't prepared for. And obviously it's once in a millennium kind of flood. But then there are doing things in other places like the Netherlands that are being affected by global warming that we might be able to steal some ideas from. So.
Understood.
All right, thank you very much for answering all these questions. Hopefully it didn't exhaust you.
No, that's fine.
So, thank you, ma'am.
Councilwoman. Thank you, Vice President. Any other? Councilman Edwards.
Thank you. Council Vice President eliminated a lot of my questions, so great. The only thing I have to add or ask is, in terms of the smart meter installations, I've heard you mention on several occasions that you've been having issues with accessing residential properties, probably due to various fears of ICE, or maybe they're at work and no one's home, but there could be other fears of other things. Have you considered connecting with some of the neighborhood associations or some of the organizations within these neighborhoods, leaders in the neighborhoods that can help you connect with the residents who you're having issues with, because they may be able to approach them and may be able to get you access to it? And I know that adds on some work, but it's a couple years into this now and we're still hearing the same type of issues. So have you considered that?
Actually, we have not went that approach because of our experience, especially in the township. With the homeowners associations, it was very difficult working with them. Mm. We had times when they actually tossed our contractors off the job because of how it was being installed. There were some issues with them that we had to meet with them, and because we have a consultant overseeing this project, and we had to meet with them and try to come to a common ground to get some of those meters installed in the townships. In the city, I can't say that we have reached out to any groups as yet, but it's something that we could definitely look into moving forward.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Some people just don't want it. Some people just outright don't want us in their house.
Yeah, I definitely hear that. I go door to door a lot, and some people just will not even answer the door. Right. So those are some serious concerns that I hope that you guys.
But we can apply the double right to serve charges. So if they want to pay the double, so be it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Anybody else? All right. Seeing, really quickly before you go, I just wanted to verify this for the public. Page 4 of the amended ordinance, for meter sizes 6 inches to 12 inches. Those are much larger numbers. I just wanted to get, if somebody could just clarify, for what types of
You want to go back on your slide? You have the ordinance.
structures would those larger meters apply to that we'd be getting this extra revenue from?
Facilities.
I'm sorry, say it again, please.
Systems for that size are usually for very large industrial facilities. I don't think we have any operating that I'm aware of in the city of Trenton. And I'm not sure how many are operating out in the townships right now. I think we may see, Hopewell is going to be a gigantic growth area for us, and we may see that kind of construction out there. There are no data centers in the area. You would see that kind of water use and delivery in a big data center, for instance. The only other one that I could think of would be an extraordinarily large hospital, much larger than any of the hospitals that we have here.
Okay. So generally speaking, with meter sizes from 5/8 inches to 12 inches, how many, up to what size would you say we service with Trenton Waterworks? Which up to what size meters based on this chart?
All of those meters are technically in the system.
You're asking what size meters?
So the chart here that you guys included
Right.
in the amended ordinance goes from 5/8 meters, which is generally,
Regular,
small, under 12 CCUs, to 12 inches. So what I'm asking you is, you said there's not so many of the larger meters, Mr. Pico. So what I'm asking is, generally from the 5/8 to the 12, like what is the max size meter that we generally had that we service with Trenton Waterworks?
The 12 inches the larger size.
So we do service
Yes,
12-inch meters.
we do have a 12-inch
Okay.
system.
So, okay, Mr. Pico, it was confusing,
Aqua.
right?
No,
Okay.
that's Johnson Pharmaceutical.
Okay.
Aqua is a 10-inch meter.
Okay,
All right.
thank you for that. All right,
All right. So again, Johnson Pharmaceuticals is.
okay,
You have the largest.
okay, so we do have, okay.
in Hope-
So, thank you. I want to thank again my colleagues for the meetings and the input and taking the time out to have these meetings. I also want to thank the administration for working with us, for working with council, for listening to us, and trying to make this make sense while finding ways to generate revenue and move in the right direction for the city of Trenton. So thank you again for your presentation. Mr. Garcia, we can proceed.
Certainly, Madam President. As I understand it, you'd like to move up an agenda item at this time to motion to approve the introduction of ordinance of this particular ordinance, if I may read it by title.
Yes, Mr. Garcia, I would like to move the introduction of this ordinance to the next agenda item at this time, yes.
All right, I'll go ahead and read that by title. Ordinance amending Chapter 309, Article 2, Water Rates and Charges of the Trenton Municipal Code, revising water rates for the city of Trenton and townships of Ewing, Hamilton, Hopewell, and Lawrence in accordance with NJSA 4831-23C and NJSA 4831-10, providing funds for capital and operational improvements required by New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection through administrative consent orders with the city. Madam President, if you'd like to ask for a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
Yes.
And Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Motion carried. And Madam President, moving on, we can move to public comment for agenda items only at this time. If I got that clipboard, please. To the public comment for agenda items only will be only for agenda and docket items that are listed today. And you have 5 minutes to address the item, and the council is not obligated to respond. First individual I have listed, and please do indicate the docket item or agenda item. I have quite a few here. Cheryl Snyder.
Good evening.
Sherelle Snyder, community organizer with the East Trenton Collaborative and Trenton resident. I'm going to speak today also with my coworker, Caitlin Fair. So hopefully we can put our time together. No. Okay, so we go. Okay. All right, so tonight we are speaking on ordinance 26004. So tonight I'm here to ask you to please pass ordinance 26004 so we can move forward with the the curve safety project you heard about at the October 7th City Council meeting. Mulberry Street has been unsafe for a long time. The parking lanes are too narrow. There's heavy truck traffic and the curve is dangerous. People in the neighborhood overwhelmingly agree that Mulberry is unsafe and that speeding and reckless driving along this road needs attention. The city has already identified this area for improvements through the city's recently adopted bike plan, the Our Streets, a Trenton Bike Plan for All. And from 2018 to 2022, there were 49 crashes on this half-mile stretch of road. 2 crashes involved pedestrians, and in 2025, there was a very serious crash where first responders had to use the jaws of life. We also know from DVR-PC traffic counts that more than 100 people bike on this road every day. This street needs safety upgrades, and this project will slow down traffic and reduce speeding, especially at the curve near St. Joe's, make it easier and safer for people to bike to places like the DNR Canal Trail, to George Page Park, and the future Library Community Center. We can make walking along the road feel safer by slowing cars and giving everyone more space. We can add a clearer separation between bikes and cars, something we know is a proven safety improvement. That's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Venice Luen. Please state your name and address for the record as well as the item on the docket or agenda you are referring to.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Venice Lewin, and I'm at 408 Sanhegan Drive in Glen Afton. I am a general contractor and developer. I'm the owner of Peace of Mind Construction Group. My firm will be 5 years old in February. We are Trenton-based. I am particularly interested in an ordinance that I believe was supposed to be on the agenda tonight for a property purchase that particularly I had pending with the city of Trenton for almost a year now. And so I was hoping to find out why it was removed and how I could get forward movement with that. I am particularly interested in improving the city and helping move the city forward, as well as having representation of women contractors and developers, particularly minority women contractors and developers. And it's a very hard task. It's definitely not for the faint of heart of people. So as much as support I can have for that for the city, particularly the city that I was born and raised in, is important to me. So I wanted to find out about that.
And would you state your name one more time, please?
Venice Lewin.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Venice. The council is not obligated to respond to you, so your comment is taken into account, and we are moving on to the other individual.
Okay. Okay. I can write the addresses down for the properties. Okay.
Paul Shore.
Yes, good evening, Council. Paul Shore, principal in the 425 Greenwood Inc., which is at the corner of South Clinton and Greenwood Avenue. I have ordinances 26001 related to the water rates, and I had a comment on ordinance 26008 related to historic commissions, historic district regulations. The first comment on 26001 is one, I'm a licensed professional engineer. I worked for the Division of Water Resources for 45 years. I understand, I was been part of the administration, technical advisors on drought management for 10, 15 years. I'm also a licensed professional planner, and frankly, I think the higher rates that are proposed for the taxes for the Trenton Water Works are excellent ideas. I would also recommend two caveats. It's that maybe too late to do it now, but maybe in the future. One, sprinkler systems. We have several sprinkler systems in these properties. They're encouraged by the Uniform Construction Code. I'm not sure if they're 1 inch or they're certainly not. There's certainly more than 5/8 inches, I believe. So those are not used unless there's a fire. And frankly, we'd be more than willing to go for the cost of whatever the ready to serve charge is. The usage charge is obviously not great, but I just want to bring to your attention that there are probably many smaller facilities that may have required sprinkler systems and may have a larger meter. Second point was related to conservation. I do believe you have not a declining block, but an increasing block rate, which will affect not just residential, but all small users. So the point that was made by Director Pico is that this is not really a residential versus a large, but it's really a small or low volume user versus a higher volume user. And that's really an important distinction to make. With respect to that, in our Trenton Water Works bill, we are charged sewerage rates based on water rates. At least that's what I believe to be the case. If in fact that is true, we are often faced in a drought or even in just a regular usage period of time with trying to keep our trees alive. Now, trees are very important in an urban area. They provide cooling, they provide evaporation, they make everything at the pavement level cooler, they make everything in the air more breathable. I would recommend that if you have a chance with the next go around at this water rate, several ways to incorporate into the operational or user rate a credit that could easily be done without administrative effort to give those homeowners, whether in townships or in municipalities, urban areas are particularly in need of this, with money credited against their usage rate where they're not going into the sewer. So we have, once again, a sewerage rate that's based on a water rate, even if the water is not going into the sewer. Now, I can't make this point big enough because you're going to be using lots of water to maintain trees in a drought or in a hot spell in the summertime. And you're going to be paying a sewer rate for that water, even though it's not going into the sewer. And I think there are ways to administratively help those customers that water, not just landscape shrubs, I'm not concerned with too much. Trees are very important. Trees in an urban area are very important. They'll be more stressed if they don't get the water. And especially our trees where there's lots of impervious cover around them are more likely to be stressed and perhaps die. Okay, so those are the 2 points on the Trenton Water Works. One is the sprinkler system meter charges, if in fact the meter size for sprinkler systems could be not included in the high volume rates. And two, that the conservation ordinances, the conservation component of the Trenton Waterworks billing process could incorporate not just a credit, but an easily administered, and I have recommendations on that, easily administered, I'll call it a tree conservation component. Thank you very much.
Caitlin Fair.
Good evening, Council. My name is Caitlin Fair. I'm the Program Director for the East Trenton Collaborative and also a Trenton resident. I'm here to follow up on the comments that Sherelle made regarding Ordinance 26-004. Just a little bit more background on this particular project. This is something that we've been working on for over a year with DVRPC and have also had Council Vice President Williams consult on at a number of steps along the way to just make sure that we are doing our due diligence in terms of ensuring that this is something that's going to benefit the neighborhood in the ways that the residents want. So this project that we're proposing will make this particular stretch of road on Mulberry Avenue safer for everyone, which includes drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists. National research shows that separated bike lanes can reduce bike crashes by over 50% and reduce total crashes by up to 30%. I want to be very clear that this project is community-led and community-funded, so this is not asking for any money from the city. We have done the work of raising the funds to implement this project ourselves. Residents and business owners along Mulberry Street and North Clinton Avenue support this project. Again, no city money is required. The funding is coming from grants and neighborhood crowdfunding that we've secured for ourselves. We've also done a ton of outreach. We've knocked on doors, we've handed out bilingual flyers and held a public event to talk to neighbors about this project. People are excited about these improvements. At our public event, which was held on October 18th, we had more than 45 people in attendance and we received 31 surveys about this particular project. And all but one person that we heard from either lived, worked, or regularly traveled throughout the neighborhood where this project is taking place. So just a few comments that we received on the surveys to give you a sense of how people feel about this project. Please get it all done. It's nice to know that there will be safe places to ride. This will make drivers more aware. This will force people to slow down. It will be safer for all. The rumble strips and the slow markings will help people stay in their lane. So we're just requesting that you vote yes on Ordinance 26-004 so we can finally make Mulberry Street safer for everyone. I also just want to say, as a resident of the city who lives very close to Ferry and Center and traverses that intersection daily and also walks through that intersection on a number of occasions, aside from driving through it every day, I'm begging you to do something about that intersection, whatever you have to do to make that safer. It is an absolute nightmare. And I would also ask to perhaps take a look at the intersection on Market in South Clinton, because that intersection is also extremely dangerous. And there are two sections of that intersection where there is no crossing infrastructure. So you cannot cross that intersection from the southwest corner, and there are residences on that corner. So if you live on that street, you can't cross the street with any crossing infrastructure. So maybe take a look at that one too. Thank you.
This is Mary Horn.
Mary Horn, Parkside Avenue, Trenton. Good evening. My concern was initially for the, in reference to the low income and seniors with Trenton Waterworks with the rate increase. My first calculation put them at $11 to $13 monthly increase. But now I came in here with a full head of steam, but now I want to thank the council, the Trenton Waterworks, and everyone who was involved with the amendment. Thank you very much. So I'll walk that one back, and they certainly could have it. Also, at the end, I like to say, I was really concerned. As long as it doesn't include a regionalization, no commission, no authorization, no lease, no board. We should never have to venture into something like that. Then we really would have to pay monies out, and everyone across the board would have to do that. So thank you again. But I'm also concerned about 26017, resolutions, authorizations, the application and acceptance for grant funds from the New Jersey Department of Health. So I don't need to read the the resolution, but I wanted to ask Dr. Diego, how aggressive has the administration been with identifying these areas, homes, schools, and buildings? Because we've been at this for a long time now, and the state has given money to identify the lead lines. So I want to ensure that at the schools and the housings and the apartment buildings and anywhere people venture, that really to be identified with the lead line service, because that's important. And for the money we're getting for that, that's a lot of money, Dr. Diego. So I'd like to know how aggressive we've been with the monies we have collected before and inspections of the buildings, homes, and schools. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Robin Vaughn.
Robin Vaughn, 1100 Stuyvesant Avenue. Yes, Resolution 26025. There are appointments of the council to various boards, and the one that I noted was the CCRC, the Capital City Redevelopment Corporation, Councilwoman Josie Edwards as liaison. I just want the council and the city of Trenton to be aware that the Capital City Redevelopment Corporation is a board that was originally established by the state Senate. And in that structuring, the city council is the governing oversight to that board, not the reverse. And there was some legislation that was amended that literally took the city council out of that governance role. So that means the city and the citizens that live here has no voice in the redevelopment of those properties that are within our borders, which is, I believe, not aligned with the redevelopment laws of our state. So I believe the law department should address that. And just because the state legislature passes a law or the mayor goes down and amend various laws, doesn't mean those laws are legal, and they should be challenged and possibly overturned. So it's unacceptable that the state is using the state legislature as a weapon against our municipality, and it has to stop at some juncture. And those laws need to be overturned. There's no way that our city should not have a voice in redevelopment of any kind by the state, Mercer County, or anybody. You are not a liaison to that board. We are that board. They report to us. So I wanted to speak on the resolution 26026. What's the difference between the Senior Advisory Board and the Senior Citizen Advisory Council? You guys appointed one member, Cordelia Staten, as the senior advisor, and I want to know what her role is and when that board was created. It seems like she has unilateral powers to do a lot of things. And I want to speak on 26002. You got a nonprofit organization with a management agreement. I would want to know what DCA has to say about that, because the Uniform Shared Services and Consolidation Act says otherwise. The city of Trenton should not be having any agreements or shared services with any organization, nonprofit or otherwise, private, outside of other municipalities or governments. Shared service agreements are between government and government. What the heck are we giving a nonprofit land? That is unacceptable. They need to pay taxes. They're already tax exempt, and that resolution should be looked at. Giving our land away to a nonprofit organization, they're already tax exempt. So that resolution need to be checked. And I just wanted to make a public comment about Trenton Waterworks. We're still in litigation. I see that the townships have submitted a response on January 15th. So we're going to keep track of that. And I just want, to make sure that Trenton Waterworks stays self-liquidating, and I'm very optimistic about the rate increases, and our waterworks should remain competitive market-wise to other public-owned water utilities. At the end of the day, we are not a private water utility. We don't have shareholders. We operate with surplus and deficit, not profit and loss. So we don't have to have a rate increase. Okay, there's no pressure for us to do that. It's recommended we should do it every 2 years or so, but we go with the market and the affordability of our owners, our taxpayers, and of course our customer base. But there's no law that says we have to move on that. So we always just want to keep the market and keep our utility self-liquidating and competitive and operating at a surplus, and at some juncture to give the taxpayers some property tax reduction from that surplus. So that surplus is supposed to benefit the taxpayers of the city, okay, and no one else. That's our surplus for the burden that we carry, that water utility, as taxpayers. And that applies to all public water utilities and all municipalities, not just Trenton. So I want you guys, particularly Jennifer Williams over there, to stop treating Trenton like we're second. We're priority. Our workers at the water utility are priority. The owner. Ms. Williams, not the customer.
It's your time.
Always caping for the customer.
Madam President, those are all the individuals I have listed for public comment for agenda items only. At this time, if you'd like to ask for a motion to approve the minutes of December 16th, 2025.
Yes, Mr. Garcia, may we have a motion to approve the communications and petitions?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilman Harrison,
Yes.
Vice President Williams,
Yes.
Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Motion carried. And Madam President, if you want to ask for a motion to approve communications, petitions, and reports.
May we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Excuse me, one moment, please. Thank you. Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilman Harrison,
Yes.
Vice President Williams,
Yes.
and Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Mr. Garcia, for the record, I stated that for the previous motion. The previous motion was for minutes.
Say again?
I stated communication petitions and reports for the previous motion. I just want to be clear that that was for minutes.
Oh, understood.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. We'll note in the minutes of this meeting as well. And Madam President, from here, we are at ordinances for second reading and public hearing, of which we have none. There are resolutions, Madam President, if there are any of you or the council wish to extract for questions at this time.
Yes.
Council President.
Colleagues, what do you have? Yes, Councilwoman Edward? Oh, sorry. What's
Yes.
that?
Gonzalez.
Councilman Gonzalez.
Yeah, 26-017. Just a quick question on that.
Okay. All right. Anyone else?
Madam President,
Councilman Edwards?
the only thing I have questions about is the differentiation between the Senior Advisory Board and the Senior Advisory Council.
Yes.
Okay, so 26026?
Yes.
Okay.
Council President,
Councilwoman Feliciano?
Thank you. I was going to say the same thing as Councilwoman Edwards. I think it's just a typo. It should be the same thing, but we can get to that when we get to that. But same thing.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Mm.
Yeah. Councilman Harrison.
26024.
06024.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
26002, ma'am.
26002?
Yep.
All right.
That's an ordinance, Madam President.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
I'll
Any
wait for
resolution?
that.
No? All right. Let's proceed. Thank you very much. I'd like to address 26025. So for the record, we have removed planning board liaison, as well as the zoning board liaison, as well as the ethics board liaison, for reasons that I would like to defer our council attorney to explain as to why those removals occurred. So, Mr. Kaloji?
Yeah, specifically as to the planning board and the zoning board, those two boards sit as quasi-judicial bodies. They consider matters and they actually render legally binding decisions. So it was determined that having council people in the room as liaisons could create an impression in some people's minds that there was undue influence, or that there was some type of subtle pressure. So to avoid anything like that, the council has determined to remove liaisons from those two boards only. My understanding is that everything else will continue as it's been with the other boards.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Kay. And then specific to Ms. Vaughn's question about the capital city redevelopment, since this is before us, I just want to get clarity. Is there validity that there should not be a liaison on this board?
Council President, I hadn't been directed to look at that one. I don't know if Mr. Bridges. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was established that this is a council governing body adopted by the Senate. I just wanted to see if there was anything that you all can tell us about this before we proceed with this resolution and approving this as continuing to have a liaison on this board. Director Bridges?
The board that Mr. Kaloji just referred to?
No, this is for the capital city redevelopment. It was just stated that we should not have a liaison. We are the governing body, and I just wanted to see if there was any.
That's okay, redevelopment, because you're not sitting in a quasi-judicial body that's making determinations upon applications that this body in turn voted on to approve or allows to even be submitted to the land board or zoning board. So that's why in those two specific instances, we should not have council members on it, just to avoid any appearance of any undue influence. This board is just a board that gets together and they're coming up with ideas and issues to float and to come up with ideas for the betterment of that area. So there is no need to remove any liaisons from that.
Okay, thank you for that clarity, Director Bridges. Any other questions on the 26025?
Yes, Council President.
Yes, Councilwoman Frisbee.
Thank you. So just for clarification on this ordinance, that means that council members should not be in attendance for these meetings. Is that correct?
For the zoning board and planning board, that is
Right.
correct.
Whether they're acting as a liaison or not, they should not be present. Correct?
They could sit in the audience. They've not that they shouldn't appear, but they should not be participating in questioning and answering and vetting of whatever applications going before those boards. So there's nothing prohibiting the council member, any member of the public, or any member of administration for that matter, from attending, but they should not be participating substantively.
No.
Great. Thank you for the clarification. Thank you, Madam President.
Council President.
Madam Vice President.
If I might, I served on zoning for 14 years and was chair several years before I came on council. And it was custom that council members would not attend the meetings because just their presence, Mr. Kaloji spoke to this a little bit earlier, could in tune if there was a case in their ward or at some part of the city that it could be taken that they had an interest in. We wouldn't want to take a chance of undue influencing any zoning board member or planning board member to vote a particular way.
Yeah, I would agree that discretion is probably a better choice in this scenario, but I'm not going to sit here and say there's a blanket prohibition of council members attending planning or zoning board. Again, if there's a specific granular example that you have, I'd be more than happy to evaluate and provide an answer. But I don't want to say that, you know, collectively for every matter that goes before a planning board, a council member should not attend. There may be some meetings where a council member may want to attend, again, not participate, not be involved with the conversation, just to get a better idea as to what's going on. But I do agree with your position that discretion is probably the better option here, so as to avoid anyone making a claim that there was some undue influence or unnecessary pressure.
Thank you for that, Director Bridges. I mean, I just wanted to state for the record, I do think it is our right as residents of the city to attend these meetings. Should it be something that applies directly to us in our home ownership, in our neighborhood, or something like that? But I do agree that we should not be presenting or speaking at these meetings. But if we can get further clarification for the future as to whether or not we should actually be in the building or not, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Council President.
Yes, Councilwoman Feliciano.
Thank you. I do recall before that this was brought up with us, and it was in the question was also asked if the council person's residence or area was affected by it, then it was fine that we would be present and can speak and everything, right? Because of course, if it's happening next door to where I live on my block, then it was no problem. But again, then it was stressed that because of the appearance of influence that could be given by the council people being present in the matter, then it was said that we shouldn't be. So unless it pertained to us directly, or our home or our block, our neighborhood directly, that impacted us as a resident that lived there that just happened to be a council member.
Right, that was my sentiment. Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Harrison.
Are you implying that members of council can't be on the planning board or the zoning board? Because I've been on the planning board for many, many years now.
That is what my opinion is. I think that was raised in an email this week with respect to that. And again, it's not that you cannot be on it. It's that, but it is that you cannot be on it. It's not that you cannot attend. It's not that you can't go for meetings and see what's going on, but just to avoid the appearance of any undue influence, it's best not to have any council members on it. For example, if someone's going before for a variance on land use and it's denied and they want to make a legal issue about it or some kind of objection to it, they could imply that a council member was present and that council member put some undue influence on the body. That's the only reason that my application was denied. We know that no council member here is going to do that, but we just don't want to give anyone the opportunity to create some type of argument that's just not there.
Madam President, I just want to clarify something, and I spoke to Councilman Harrison about this today. Councilman Harrison is in a unique situation under the Land Use Act in Title 40A. One member of the planning board has to be a member of the governing body. The governing body every year selects a member for a one-year term to sit as a real member of the board, not a liaison, not somebody sitting in the audience as an actual board member. So I know Council Harrison in the past has held that position. I think there's a resolution on tonight. None of this pertains to him. He is still a bona fide, full, in every respect, member of the planning board. It has nothing to do with liaison or attendance or anything like that.
Thank you, Mr. Kaloji.
Thank you.
Right. All right. So I would say consent. All right.
Noted.
Yes. Okay. 26026, Councilwoman Edwards, you had a question about this?
Yes. If my memory serves me correctly, when Councilwoman Feliciano had introduced this ordinance to create this, it was the Senior Advisory Council. So it could just be a typo on there instead of it saying board.
I'll take responsibility for that. I typed this and I typed board as opposed to council. I do apologize to the council and anyone for any discrepancy.
No worries. It's typical that we use the word board, and this time it was council, so we understand the confusion. But thank
All right.
you for clearing it up.
Councilwoman Feliciano, did you have anything further on this?
No, the only thing about that would be to address Ms. Vaughn's concern about Cordelia Staten and the difference in between the boards. So it is the same board as the council and the board, but she, along with others, are being appointed to that same board. They're seeking appointment to the same board tonight as well, right? Because some come from the council, and then some come from the administration that we would see later on. And everyone has had to submit documentation to express their interest in serving as they have done on every council. So it's not that it's anything special or unique. It was we was trying to get this started since 2023. And now here we finally are getting it underway. So I just wanted to express that. It could go on consent. Thank you.
Madam President?
Yes.
One more
Councilwoman
question
Edwards.
on this.
Yes.
I was wondering, and not to add on more work for anyone, but in the previous appointments that we had the people come into council and present themselves and ask any questions. So if there's anyone here tonight, I do see at least one person that is listed on the resolutions here, just to give her a chance to speak, if that's okay with her and everyone else. I don't want to elongate the meeting, but I just wanted to practice the same standards we set.
Yes. Are there members for the senior advisory? Okay. One of you ladies, please stand. One at a time. One at a time. Ma'am, would you come up to the podium, please, and just introduce yourself and let us know why you'd like to be part of this advisory council.
Name's Veronica Davis, and I'd like to be part of this council because I want to work with other seniors to make programs for our city so we could better fit the seniors who needs our help.
Okay, thank you so much.
Good evening, council members. My name is Anita Broach. Part of the reason why I want to be part of the board is the same as this young lady who just came up, to help seniors in the city. They express certain needs and wants, and I have the experience to help them. I volunteer at the Reading Center, and I'm willing to go and help other centers to express how much they are still counted, because some of them feel like that people forgot about them. I found that they still have skills that can be offered to the city. They still can be used. And I also found out they're tired of sitting home. So when we implement different activities, get them moving, doing creative art, they love it. So they look to come to these centers, and we're trying to come up with ideas to help other seniors in the city to get out their homes. And sometimes it leads to depression. So they had expressed to me, I'm a young senior, but they put me to work already. They put me to work already. I'm the senior queen of Trenton. They voted me in because I already did volunteer work. My grandmother was a senior at the Reading Center. And I remember trying to talk her into going to one of the centers. From there, she lived to be 102. So it works. It works. They want to be counted in. They want to be thought about. And I'm here to represent them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Broach. Thank you so much, Ms. Davis and Ms. Broach, for your interest and your willingness to stand up and serve the community and those that need it the most. It is to my understanding that both appointments are mayoral appointments, correct? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Also, Mr. Garcia, I just wanted to note, I believe Miss Cordelia Staten was notified and invited to this meeting this evening.
Yes, the letter was sent via email to her, inviting her to the meeting this evening.
Okay, thank you.
Council President?
Councilwoman Williams.
Thank you, Madam.
Council Vice President, sorry.
Also, Louise McCants. I don't know if Louise is here.
No.
Oh, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And Mr., what was the name? Louise?
Louise McCants.
Can we verify that this individual was also invited to this meeting? Yes, okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, consent? Great, thank you, consent. All right, moving on, Resolution 26-017, Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Dr. Diego Minacapelli, Department of Health and Human Services. I think this is my resolution.
Yes, Councilwoman Gonzalez, I believe you had a question?
Yes, it was just quick. I noticed on the questions that you all sent from Dr. Review that there was some money that was sent back. And I was just curious to know, like, why did we have to return our money back from this?
Yes, Councilwoman. So these monies come from the New Jersey Department of Health, and they come with a lot of regulations. How we can utilize these funds are for salaries and supplies for those staff members. As is right now, we play for 70. With this money, is 75% for salaries for 6 staff members, which includes the nurses. We also utilize the money for supplies for Healthy Homes kits, mobile treating capabilities, and we also purchase technology for the staff members. And so we do have some vacancies for nurses, and again, the grant is very restrictive to the way that we can spend the funds. If we don't find the appropriate candidate, we do have to return the funds.
Got it.
And so that is the reason why.
Okay. Thank you so much for that clarification. It can go on consent.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you, Director Minacapelli. All right, Resolution 26-024, Councilman Harrison. This is Public Works. Director Anatiri, this is 26-024.
Okay.
Good evening, Council President. Good evening, Council. Wale Unitary, Director of Public Works. The Bobcat is needed for the Department of Public Works. Not only do we need it for public property, which we use to clean up all the abandoned city-owned properties and other area, and we also get calls to help other departments to use this equipment. That's what it is. What we have now, they are obsolete. What I mean by that is we are spending so much money to repair what we have currently, and that's why we're replacing this.
Director, first and foremost, I'm glad to see these Bobcats to make the job so much easier on your great staff. Also, I wanted to take the time because I know we had a conversation. Wanted to thank you for all your many years of service. I know you told me you're going to be retiring, so I want to thank you. You've been a phenomenal director, and you've worked hard for this great city. So I want to thank you for all your hard service.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Council President.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Thank you. Director Anatiri.
Hello, Council.
Hello. Listen, congratulations on your retirement. Thank you for all your hard work. I don't know when you're leaving, but they saying you're going. So congratulations to you. Thank you for everything you've done and that you'll continue to do, I guess, up until you go. And you are appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank
you. Councilman Harrison, consent?
Yes, consent.
Thank you. Okay, moving forward. That's all the resolutions.
Correct, Madam President. If you'd like to ask for a motion to approve a consent agenda consisting of all the resolutions this evening.
Yes, would you please read off the resolution numbers, Mr.
Certainly. For consent, as again, consent agenda consisting of 26-025, 026, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24.
Mr. Garcia, could please note that the 26 will be amended to say advisory council.
Was there a, yes, minor typo. We will correct that as well. We will make sure we correct that. I'm sorry, to either of the attorneys, I don't need a motion to amend that, do I?
No.
Thank you.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
Yes.
Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Motion carried. And on to ordinances for first reading and introduction. Madam President, we have passed 26-001. We are on to 26-002, an ordinance authorizing the execution of a management agreement between the City of Trenton and Rescue Mission of Trenton for the management, monitoring, and maintenance of Southern Park and surrounding vacant spaces. Madam President, if you want to ask for a motion to approve.
I would like to address it really quickly before. Oh, let's approve it first. I'm sorry. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Is there discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
It was brought up in the comment section for agenda items about land being given away. This was one of the things that myself and Council Vice President Williams had asked in our pre-session when we first got our dockets that we submitted to all of council. And it is my understanding, and I would like a member of the administration to please speak to this. It is my understanding that we are not giving any land away, that this land will purely be used by this organization, the Rescue Mission specifically, for maintenance and usage. Is that correct? Could somebody speak to that from the administration?
Council President, if I may.
Yes.
Your understanding is correct. If it's actually expressly spelled out in the management services agreement, we're not giving it away. It's a long-term lease by which they're going to operate it, fix up, clean, operate, and that's going to be for a period of years. So we're not giving the property away.
Thank you, Director. Council Vice President Williams, did you have a question for this?
Yes, I would like to have, if we could, ma'am, Director Harris come up and explain what will actually happen at this location, particularly the discussion we've had recently in the past regarding the Harlan Joseph Peace Park. Interim Director Harris, sorry.
Paul Harris. So this land is currently owned by the City of Trenton. The first portion of the land is actually a vacant city park, and then behind that is just vacant land. It is encumbered through our Green Acres program, and it will remain the city's property regardless. There will be upgrades. It's estimated to be, there was a budget of $1.7 million. It's no, as Director Bridges said, there's no immediate cost to the city. And what this is going to do is going to transform that area pretty much. And basically anybody who walks or drives through there, it's an eyesore. It's an eyesore. And just so you understand, we've been on all the calls and we've explained to them our concerns. But if you've been out there, you know, there's a lot of issues out there. So, you know, we're not going to build something that we're not going to maintain. And the CEO of the Rescue Mission understands that. There'll be lights, there'll be cameras, there'll be adequate fencing. The park will be open for the public, but it'll be a secure park. This is a strictly Mercer County project. So we're clear about that, in partnership with the Rescue Mission and the City of Trenton, since we own the land. And for those who don't know who, this is a community activist who was, I believe, shot and killed in 1968. I think he was a seminary student. So for people, who don't know the history. And it's in line with what a lot of the stuff we've been doing is to ensure that members of the public understand some of our forgotten history. A lot of people don't know. So there'll be interpretive signage there as well, so people can visualize who the man was and what he meant to the community at the time.
Thank you very much, Directors. He was, just if I might add for a moment, he was a peacemaker who ran all the way from his home on Carroll Street nearby to downtown to try to help quell the riot that was happening in the wake of Dr. King's assassination. And unfortunately, he was shot by a police officer. Question whether how that happened, but this park is to be in honor of him as a peacemaker and as a community activist.
Madam President?
Yes.
I don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you for getting to this point. I was there at that meeting as well a couple of years ago at this point, and the rendering was immaculate. The story was definitely heart-wrenching and something that personally touched me as an activist myself and peacemaker in the city, having been downtown in that 2020 riot when George Floyd was murdered, and having with my sister and a friend of mine to stop hundreds of people from tearing into stores and damaging property and damaging our city. So I love that this is happening in honor of his memory, and it was a pleasure and honor to meet his living relatives as well at that meeting who advocated for this. I think this would be something monumental for that neighborhood. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but that area needs some loving care. You know, it needs to be cleaned up, and I think this is how you do it. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Council President.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Thank you. I too was at the meeting and met the family and everything. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. I thank Councilwoman Williams for even bringing it to my attention at that time, looping me into the process about it. I think it's going to be great to fix that area up. I love her thoughtfulness about acknowledging the history and everything like that, along with our other council colleagues as well. Councilwoman Edwards is also a big history buff. But it was a pleasure to be there, to see the renderings and the drawings, and to sit and meet with everybody that's helping to put this together. And I look forward to it moving forward. So thank you very much, Director Harris. And I'm grateful to the county and everybody else, the rescue mission that wants to take part in making this happen. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. All right, is that all the questions? Okay, Mr. Garcia, can we move for a vote? We have a motion.
Roll call. I'm sorry. We were motion second.
Did we
Right?
do the motion already?
Yeah, we did the
Okay.
motion second. We
Okay.
had discussion. We can go to roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
Yes.
And Council President Figueroa Kemberg.
Yes.
Motion carried. Ordinance 26-003, ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 14 of the Code of the City of Trenton, traffic as it applies to parking restrictions for vans and trucks in residential areas.
We have a motion? So
moved.
approved.
Second.
Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
Yes.
And Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Motion carried. Ordinance 26-004, ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 14 of the Code of the City, traffic as it applies to Mulberry Street.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez,
Yes.
Vice President Williams,
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Sorry. Vice President what? Got it. Vice President Williams
Yes.
and Council President Figueroa Kettner.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. Ordinance 26-007, ordinance authorizing the sale of city-owned property commonly known as 396 and 398 North Clinton Avenue and 28 East Byrne Avenue, and identified on the city tax map as Block 21403, lots 22 and 23, Block 21501, Lot 19, pursuant to NJSA 40A 12-13C to 713 Whitaker LLC for the sale price of $23,000.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards. Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
Yes.
Council President Figueroa Kettner.
Yes.
Motion carried. Ordinance 26-008, an ordinance amending ordinance 25-138, which amended Chapter 2, Article 3, Sections 2-7 entitled Boards, Bodies, and Commissions, and repealing and replacing Chapter 2, Article, 14, Section 71 entitled Landmarks Commission for Historic Preservation, and Chapter 315, Article 15 entitled Historic District Regulations of the Code of the City of Trenton.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I'm sorry. So it was moved by?
Everybody.
Edwards.
I'll need one.
Edwards.
Thank you. Second by?
Frisbee.
Thank you. Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
Yes.
Council President Figueroa Kettner.
Yes.
Motion carried. And Madam President, I believe those are all the items I have for this evening. If you would like to move to public comment.
No, Mr. Garcia, I believe we have a walk-on 26027.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, 26227, which is a resolution appointing Councilman Harrison as a Class 3 member of the Planning Board.
Mr.
You have a motion to
Garcia?
approve?
Sorry, really quickly, just before we do that. And the fourth whereas,
Yes.
he is noted as councilwoman. Can we change that?
I can't seem to do right by you, Councilman Harrison, today. I promise. Noted, and we will change that. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have a
And
motion?
Madam President, if you want to ask for a motion to approve.
Yes. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
All right, thank you. And roll call, Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
Yes.
Council President Figueroa Kettner.
Yes.
Motion carried. And now, Madam President, I believe we can move to public comment. So the public comment will be 5 minutes for each individual. You may address any item that you wish. The council is not obligated to respond to you. Please do state your name and address for the record. First person we have listed is Victor Irizarry.
Mr. Garcia, how many people signed up for public comment? Okay, thank you.
Victory Saturday, 19 Moreland Avenue, Trenton, New Jersey. It's an honor again. I'd like to speak on Irwin Stool Matcher or Maker's comment about Trenton again. He and L.A. Parker seem to take turns about on how to put Trenton down, and now this person here, Mr. Irwin from West Windsor, before he start cutting down Trenton, he reasoned himself for being so an authority. Why he has a reason from West Windsor, being a West Windsor resident, and saying the things he is saying. He's so well educated and been involved in and out of Trenton for many years and so forth. And then he goes to say also that the mayor of our city was not qualified enough to pick staff members to assist him in running the city in maybe 5, 6 years, like Doug Palmer did. And Doug was so good and excellent at picking the people that he had working for him. And in other words, the mayor we have now is nowhere near his qualifications. And he goes on to repeat himself in like five different criterias that I was trying to, I was breaking them down, but it seems to me that it's the same thing over and over again. That he hopes, and he first of all, that stuck out is that how is the next mayor going to deal with the staff, current staff, and then who will they pick to help them assist in turning the city around, and how they're going to deal with the drugs and the violence and incompetency and leadership. Again, I'll say this is bigger than Trenton, New Jersey, Mercer County, New Jersey, and United States of America. I know coming to these meetings here, that we have qualified people. What we don't have is support from outside of the city. And today I was reasoning with myself. I was thinking out loud to myself, what is it about Trenton that I know for many years, the police been trying to run me out of Trenton since I was a teenager. And I had my incident out, my bumps, with undercover cops, police officers, and, maybe politicians here and there. So that part I can understand. But when it gets to we, at one time or another, a whole lot of my brothers and sisters have died and gone to jail. And we tried to do better, but somehow either the police or the outside communities want to keep Trenton down. That's what brings my attention is that at one time, the mafia was out there in Chambersburg, not only in Chambersburg, but the outskirts going to the Bordentown, and they had top-notch gangsters there. So, okay, Trenton's a cash cow. I understand that part. But this is bigger than just, what we have to understand next. When we get, the board that we have now in politics in Trenton, to me, it's an excellent board to keep on, continuing the struggle. But this is bigger than just being educated and being experienced and being in office for a certain amount of years, and then you develop yourself into this person that can be a superhuman and change things. But that's always again the same thing. This is a God. I mean, there's a good and evil thing, a good and evil battle between God and the person. This is people on the planet Earth. The people in America that's being targeted. That the system, well, I could say to the dragon, okay, the system, the devil system, Lucifer's, which is actually Yaakov, he has directed that willingness or attempt to kill the Asiatic black people of the United States of America from 1555 to 19. I use the teachings of the nation of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as a reference. Now, when it gets to politics, now this lady, Renee Good, she got shot over immigrants. Donald Trump is taking over Venezuela because of drugs and immigrants. He wants to take over Greenland because against security. This is all biblical and is there in the Bible and the Quran and the teaching of Elijah Muhammad. But when it comes to teaching, his teaching, Elijah's teachings, is about people. And this is more than just blaming a white president, white people, because this is something that happened before there were any colored people other than black on the planet Earth. And I keep saying, well, I will keep saying that the white man he You can't blame him no more. He's split with either right or left, Republican, Democrat, a good.
Maurice Ware.
Thank you. Thank you for, I want to speak about the vegan food truck that I own. Honorable members and Trenton City Council, thank you for taking time to consider my comments and ideals. I'm here to see if I can work my food truck like a 9 to 5, like I do as a truck driver. I've been driving trucks for 20 years, so I care about the city deeply, and I just want to say that it's interesting contributing to this city and to the community through a small business and health sustainable practices. I understand that under the current regulations that food trucks are not permitted within the city. I respectfully ask council to consider the potential benefits allowing thoroughly regulated mobile vendors, particularly those who focus on health, sustainability, and community engagement. And emphasize my proposal is for a small plant-based vegan food truck like myself to provide healthy, fresh meals while maintaining a low environmental impact. A plant-based menu naturally reduces the carbon footprints and supports public health and aligns with broader goals in sustainability and wellness. This will not be an occasional event, but an operation that I want to take on for a 9 to 5 and as my livelihood, creating a consistent economic activity and dependable service for residents and visitors. In addition, I am deeply involved in cycling, an avid cyclist, and it is great and is an active transportation in the city, being though we have the canal path in different areas where you can cycle. My goal is to integrate food, cycling culture, and open public spaces in a way that encourages people to be outdoors, because we have a lot of outdoors in Trenton, New Jersey, like the canal. It goes 66 miles, 33 in one way, 33 in another on the canal path. So I'm in the city and engage this with the city strategically and place mobile vendors that can increase foot traffic in parks, open spaces, and commercial corridors, helping nearby businesses while making public areas feel more active and welcome and safe. Many people today are looking for healthier food options and opportunities and to live a more healthy lifestyle. A plant-based mobile vendor like myself can help address both needs of providing accessible, nutritious meals and encouraging walking, cycling, and outdoors activities. The support is the public goals and help foster a strong sense of community. Updated or piloted regulations could allow responsible food truck operators like myself and benefit Trenton economically and socially and environmentally. I am eager to work collaboratively with the city to ensure compliance, safety, cleanliness, and respect for the existing businesses. Thank you for your time and your service and willing to listen. I look forward for possibly contributing to Trenton's future in a way that supports healthy sustainability and local commerce. Thank you for your time.
Paul Shore.
Good evening again, Council President, and members. I have a handout. I will give it to the Secretary.
Thank you.
My reason for taking this time is to ask Council to amend the Land Development Ordinance 2023 to include the sections 315-232 and 315-240 that were in the 2010 Land Development Ordinance. I believe those sections of the previous Land Development Ordinance were omitted by oversight. If I could briefly make a point, each ward is represented in that previous ordinance. It's a special building setback from many streets throughout the city. It has a historic as well as present day safety function, and present and future uses. So the ordinance that was existing in 2010, that is 315-232 and 315-240, was called a special building setback ordinance. And it's important. It relates to every street throughout Trenton. The reasons that it's important, for example, on Greenwood Avenue, is going back to the very origins of this country in 1776. I believe Washington may have used Greenwood Avenue to cross the Assunpink, because Greenwood Avenue was originally in Mill Hill and extended all the way over into up to Hamilton. But at that time, then it was then eliminated, at least intersected by the DNR Canal. But so there's a very historic reason why Greenwood Avenue is special. It goes back to General Washington's march on Princeton. Not Princeton itself, but on the English and the Hessians in Princeton. Greenwood Avenue in 1820 was important because it was there that the DNR Canal Commission was established. It was the flat, and to emphasize this, very important. Today's administration, Trenton has benefited from the natural, I'll call it, confluence of the Delaware River, fresh, salt, and tidal waters for the last millennium. And in the flattest and most level route from Philadelphia to New York, which made Brunswick Avenue and now Route 1 and the railroads all possible going through Trenton. That is what is the resilience of the city of Trenton. That is the resilience that provides the energy for everything that we do in the city of Trenton. The historic relevance is every 10 years, there's something, millions upon millions of dollars are invested in that, whether it's highways, whether it's Amtrak, whether it's a train station, whether it's a transit center. We're talking close to $1 billion of investment because of these natural facilities, natural topography of the location of the city of Trenton. That has to be protected. That was the point of special building setback 315-240. That was eliminated. That was eliminated. I can't emphasize it enough. That was a huge mistake. Anyway, this is the year to commemorate that. This is the year to commemorate that because this is the year we're celebrating the 250th anniversary of all our founding fathers. What would be better than to have this ordinance reinstated as a commemorative past, present, and future recognition of the wisdom of that ordinance. Thank you very much.
Anita Broach. Mary Horn. Robin Vaughn. Candia Torres.
Candia Torres, 215 Stacy Avenue, Trenton, New Jersey. Good evening. I look around this room and I look at the landscape of our city as we head toward this next election runoff. And I have to tell you, I am puzzled. I see names and faces running for office, and some of those faces belong to the people who are already sitting in these seats. You are sitting in the seats that have failed us over and over again. We have watched you cycle in and out of power. And most painful part, enough of you went silent during darkest times of the people who believed in you. When we needed a voice, you gave us silence. When we needed a fight, you gave us hesitation. I stand here tonight on the behalf of Trenton residents facing unnecessary changes. And what we are fully aware of is history. When redlining took place in this country, it was a system based on where your home was. That location determined how much money, how much care, and how much standard of living would be invested in you. And looking at Trenton today, the red line hasn't been erased. It's just been hidden under administrative failures. Our homes in this city are falling through the cracks. We are witnessing increase of illegal eviction rates that should shame this administration. We are seeing families forced to live in uninhabitable housing, mold, cold, and decay. We are seeing properties that aren't even properly registered, yet are collecting rent. We are seeing fines that are never imposed on the people breaking the law. We are seeing questionable, comfortable, illegal relationships between city employees and the very landlords who are exploiting our residents. And worst of it all is being done while smiling in our faces. Now, I know the response. I've heard it before. It was once stated right here in this council chamber. There's but so much we can do. And to that I say, if there's but so much you can do, and that amount is not enough to save our families or to silence our cries, then why are you here? If you have reached the limit of your ability to fight for us, then have the decency to walk away from these seats. Allow those who can and will do so much and more to take the hymn. Do not occupy a seat intended for a warrior if you only prepared to be a spectator. Let's be clear about where we are today. Trenton is dang near at ground level of failure. The foundation is cracking. At this point, we have a binary choice. We can either prepare to dig our own grave of failure, or we can decide right now that we're going to be done with the digging. We can decide to build, but we cannot build on a broken foundation of trust. So I have a message for everyone campaigning for a city seat in 2026. If your intentions are for popularity, gracefully back away. If you're running because you like the title, back away. If you're running but you're afraid to upset the status quo, back away. In 2026 and moving forward, there's only one goal. The goal is to remove the red line entirely. The goal is to move our people from poverty to prosperity. We are done asking nicely. We are done waiting for you to find your courage. The trust is broken. It's up to you to fix it. Whether you fight with us or we have to fight to remove you out those seats, make no mistake, change will come.
Thank you.
You, Madam President, those are all the individuals I've listed for public comment at this time. If you wish, you can start with anyone for civic comment.
Yes. Councilwoman Edwards.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, everyone. I just want to say congratulations again to my council colleagues on their elections to president and vice president. Kudos to running a successful meeting today on your very first meeting. Second. That's right. Because the reorg, you did start the reorg. My apologies. Well, your first really full-blown official meeting. So I want to say also thank you to the administration for taking heed to our concerns on behalf of the residents of Trenton with revisiting the rate increase and reducing it from the proposed 14% to 5%. That right there sets a precedence on putting Trentonians first and taking into the account the already very high cost of living that many of our residents suffer from. We have a lot of low-income residents in our city, so a 14% rate increase would have crippled them and created financial hardships, even more than what many of our residents are already dealing with. So I appreciate you taking that into consideration and us getting past the first reading today. I don't really have a whole lot to talk about, but I do want to talk about some of the issues that we have been hearing about the whole, applications for the city-owned property purchases. It is somewhat on pause because the administration does need to fill certain positions in the Housing and Economic Development Department, but the HED ad hoc committee is doing their due diligence to work with the administration to vet these applications and making sure that we are addressing these in a timely fashion. And we will be providing updates as soon as we get them on when that process plans to proceed. And I just want to say that this council has approved well over 100 properties to be sold. However, with the lack of an attorney in the HED department, the administration is unable to close on these property sales to sell them over and transfer ownership over to them. So please be patient as the administration is trying to fix this issue, but just know that council is doing their part in this process as the redevelopment authority. Lastly, I want to thank the administration for finally putting a meeting on the schedule for our newly formed Trenton Waterworks Ad Hoc Committee. It's dated for January 27th, and I'm looking forward to getting some of the updates. I really appreciate my colleagues for meeting with the administration recently in regards to the rate increases and hashing that out so that we can bring it to fruition today for you all. So stick with us. We will have updates. We will be putting out information in regards to those updates to the public to make sure that everyone is aware and we are increasing our transparency and communication on this council. So thank you and have a good evening. And stay warm.
Thank you, Councilwoman Edwards. I believe Councilwoman Feliciano has hopped off. Is that correct? Okay. Councilwoman Frisbee.
Thank you, Madam President. So I just want to say to everyone, thank you for everyone who presented on this evening, but it's greatly appreciated. All the information that was given out, and I'm really excited about the fact that we're going to have regulation, the updates with the rates that increases for our community, but that they will be in moderation so that no one is falling behind. I believe that this will be something that is greatly needed in our community to help us with what we're trying to do with Trenton Waterworks to make sure that we can help ensure and get the upgrades that we need done. I want to thank all the directors for coming out there, and Director Auditoria, especially want to just say thank you to you for all your services that you have rendered to our city and to our country. I am working on a resolution, as I did tell you last week, to make sure that you are properly acknowledged. Thank you for all your services, and thank you for everyone who came out, who had comments on this evening. You are greatly appreciated. And that's all I have for this evening, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Gonzalez. Councilwoman Gonzalez, are you still with us? Okay. Councilman Harrison has left us this evening. Council Vice President Williams.
Thank you,
I'm
Council
sorry.
President.
I'm sorry, Council President. I was waiting for Jorge to let me unmute.
Okay. Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Sorry, CVP. So I'm going to be really quick. I don't have a lot of comments tonight, but I do want to just say thank you to the administration for, working with us with the rate increase, as stated before by my colleagues, that and all of the meetings that were held. So thank you, Council President, also for organizing those meetings so that we can go back and forth and make sure that things made sense and was fair to the residents here in the city of Trenton and the surrounding areas. To Mr. Maurice Ware, that I know I spoke to him lately, and we were looking into some vendors, been going back and forth about what can and cannot be done as far as people vending in the city of Trenton. So know that that is somewhat in the works of making that happen, hopefully soon. And as far as Ms. Candia, I'm sorry that you feel that way about this council, because I know that we have been working really, really hard for our residents. And, a lot of things that whenever we get concerns, we do try to address them and make sure that they are taken care of. And we do share some of your frustrations. So I just want to say, thank you for sharing that with us. And, hopefully you will see some of the progress that we have made in the last 3 years. And then to Miss Venice, I am sorry. I don't know why that was pulled. I don't know what was pulled and what was not pulled from the docket, but just know that we are trying to make sure that some of our local people are able to obtain the home so that we can get rid of people who do not take care of the homes for those who are renting in the city of Trenton. I believe that was all my notes for today. Yes, thank you all and have a good evening.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Council Vice President Williams.
Thank you, Council President. So I do have a few things to say. Tomorrow night is our North Ward Citizens Police Advisory Council meeting. There's might be a couple flyers left in the back. Please join us if you can. 5:30 to 7 at Galilee Baptist Church, 440 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Our special guest will be Signal 22, the Fire and Police Canteen. They should be bringing hopefully their new truck to show us about how they service fire, police, emergency responders to here in Trenton mainly, but also within a 70-mile radius if there's a large incident that happens. I may have seen them at events such as the Christmas parade that we held last month here, coming to City Hall, where they gave out cookies and hot chocolate to everyone who came. So it should be a really interesting discussion of finding out what they do when they respond to a major incident and trying to support. Sometimes the firefighters are there 12, 16, 24 hours. And then, so it would be interesting to see what they have to say. And they're also looking for volunteers. So if anybody's looking to be more engaged, please join us. Again, it's 5:30 to 7 tomorrow night. We have the police department there to talk about crime issues in the North Ward. Also, Public Works usually comes to talk about issues, and the fire department. So just want to also extend my thank you to Director Wally Onatieri for your service to Trenton, service to our country for so many years. We're going to miss you. You definitely helped this council get up to speed on public works and what was possible and what could be possible and what was not possible, at least right away. And it taught us a lot, and I'm personally appreciative for how much you tried to do to help make the North Ward and our city in a better place. It'd be a cleaner city and a safer city. So also regarding waterworks, my council colleagues already said it best. We're really glad to be able, I hate to say we're glad to have a rate increase, but we're glad to be able to handle this ourselves. The last thing we wanted is to have the state of New Jersey try to take our waterworks by regionalization or some other word. And this way we can fix the problem over a number of years. We'll make sure, as we discussed tonight, that things are monitored properly, that everything's done properly. And I just want to applaud my colleagues from day one. Everyone on this council has fought to make sure that Trenton kept its waterworks and that we got the job done right. And administration, thank you very much for partnering with us on that. It wasn't easy. It will not be easy. And I look forward to the success of the ad hoc committee and any other discussions we have coming up. Regarding Harlan Joseph Peace Park and what's going to happen at Rescue Mission, that's going to be a great project for the city. I can't wait for it to get started so people can see what's going to be happening there and how we honor a great Trentonian who gave his life for this city. And then I also want to thank Cordelia Staten, Veronica Davis, Anita Broach, and Louise McCants for stepping up as Trentonians to join our Senior Citizens Advisory Board. It'll be a board, I think, that makes a great difference for us. And I did just want to add one thing regarding zoning and planning to Council President's point. Custom was that if you had a problem in your own block, your own neighborhood, or your own property, you would be able to speak publicly on that, of course, but generally you do not come to meetings and speak or be a presence, because it also could be seen by members of that body, since we vote on their appointments, as something to be concerned with. And finally, I just want to address two things. Mr. Shore, thank you for coming out to speak about the setbacks. That is something that we do need to talk about further, and I'm really hopeful that we can maybe get a presentation from the city on that particular part of our plan, and maybe that it should be corrected because I know the property on Greenwood Avenue is quite controversial with how close it is to the street, and it's not within the sight line. And I'm just going to close with this. I know there's been a lot of controversy lately regarding the inauguration of our Governor Mike Sherrill. Congratulations. And Dale Campbell, the LG, Lieutenant Governor up in Newark. But today in her speech, Governor Mike Sherrill said this: "I have heard you in Trenton where you want safer streets for kids, redevelopment programs that work and provide jobs, and for the state to pay its fair share." I've not heard that from a governor before. I'm hopeful that it'll come through and our relationship with the state will change. And I just want to say we are in this together, council and administration. We're going to keep fighting. I know administration, the mayor has been doing that. I know this council's been doing that. And just please trust in us, but we need your help in this fight too. They're not going to meet their requirements.
Council Vice President, that is your time.
Unless we make them. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Good evening, everybody. Thank you all. I mean, it is cold outside, so I really appreciate you all coming in here. I mean, it is so cold that this morning I was supposed to go to the inauguration in Newark. I got in my car in 16-degree weather. I bundled my son up, had him in the back seat, ready to drop him off to the babysitter, and realized I had not been in my car for 3 days hiding from this cold, and my windows were frozen. I tried to get that snow off, the ice off. My hands started hurting. There was no more Newark for me. I went back in the house with my son. So with that, I just want to thank Public Works for the amazing job you guys have been doing for snow removal, and also trash pickup and everything else. I mean, you guys took my 10-foot Christmas tree away with no issue this morning. So I really want to thank you guys. Ms. Onatera, you will be missed. South Ward will definitely miss your leadership. And I'm sure you're going to miss all of the South Ward Councilwomen's emails through the liaison. So thank you for all of your hard work and leadership, and we are going to miss you. And I'm sure that whoever replaces you, they have big shoes to fill, and I'm sure they'll do an amazing job. So thank you. Just wanted to touch upon really quickly the property purchases. For the young lady who was here and said that she had been interested in a year and it was supposed to be on the agenda. I have had issues with our property sales. I have either voted no or I have abstained from the votes for property purchases simply because I don't like how they've been done. I don't think that they are uniform across the board. I have not been on the same page as them. I have joined the HED subcommittee now, so I really look forward to gaining more insight on what these property sales look like and how they're going to move forward. And then hopefully we can move in unison in understanding and moving these properties along. It's not for everybody trying to purchase properties, but there are some red flags for me anyway. So I have been speaking out against this or about this for quite some time. And I just want more clarity for council. And I want all of us to just be on, an even playing field when it comes to, getting these off on our tax reels. I want to thank again Councilwoman Feliciano and Councilwoman Gonzalez for carrying through with me on these important meetings with Trenton Water Works to get that 14% down to 5%, to make it make sense for all Trenton residents. We worked tirelessly throughout the weekend, different phone calls, messages, emails, and I was just transmitting all that information to my colleagues so that they can have an understanding. And thank you again to the administration for hustling and making sure that these amendments were made to be put on the docket today for our introduction. It is something very much needed. We need, the funds for infrastructure. We need the revenue. End of the story. So thank you again to them and to Councilwoman Edwards for introducing and the implementation of the Trenton Water Works ad hoc. You, myself, and Councilwoman Gonzalez are on that ad hoc committee, so I look forward to moving forward. The work is not done just with this ordinance about the rates. Also, again, I said I was joining the HED ad hoc committee. Again, Councilwoman Edwards, I believe that's something you also created. So I look forward to sitting on that with yourself and Council Vice President Williams. And let's move these properties the way that they should and make it fair across the board. thank you to Sherelle and Caitlin for always advocating for the community, for Trenton. Really appreciate it. And Southward CPAC is Thursday, 5:30 to 7 o'clock at St. Mary's at 335 Adeline. That's on the corner of Adeline and Beatty Streets. So please come out. Some of our directors will be there to answer questions. And that is all I have for you guys. Again, thank you all for coming out. Stay warm, keep your seniors warm, and have a wonderful evening.
Madam President, if you want to ask for a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Jumped it.
Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Yeah.
Councilwoman, wait, who's still here?
Just go through. Just go through.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
Yes.
Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.